What if I told you the real reason that you're struggling to sell your coaching and your online coaching is something completely different to what you think? Because chances are, if you're here, you're probably an expert already. You know you can help people. You've walked the walk. You've transformed your own life. You probably helped people in person as well. But when it comes to building and getting people sold to your online coaching program, it's a bit of an issue. Well, stick around, because in this video I'll dive deep into the exact sales process, the exact psychology, the exact mindset you need to have to be able to package your coaching program up to be at least £1,000 for online coaching, how you can package it up and how you can sell it so it differentiates itself and you can actually get clients coming into the program, be super excited to pay you this money, and you can transform their life drastically. We're going to dive deep into all of this in this video, right? One of the very first things we need to keep in mind when we are struggling to sell our coaching program, and as to why that might be, is because people don't buy features of a coaching program. They don't care the features in the coaching program. They don't care what app you're delivering your coaching program. They don't care if they're going to get spreadsheets. They don't care if they're going to get to speak to you on WhatsApp or on Zoom calls, or they're going to see you every week if they have to, in the gym, or you having to meet them for coffee. They don't care about any of that. Like, the reality is, you're not a movie star. You're not Leonardo DiCaprio. You're not someone that they really admire. Like, they probably look up to you. They're probably, you're probably a motivational figure, but they're not, they're not going to be completely mind blown away by the fact that they just get to spend an hour with you over Zoom, for example. So we need to really step away from thinking this person's buying into the features of the program. They're buying into the training plan. They're buying into the support from me. They're buying into my training plan, my experience. They are, right? To an extent they are, but much more important than all of that, they're buying into the end goal. They're buying into two things. They're buying into the transformation that they will achieve at the end of the program. The second thing they're buying is the pain they will escape that they're feeling right now. And one of the biggest things you can keep in mind with any coaching program, with any sales process, is people will pay so much more money to escape a pain that they have right now than they will to achieve a dream outcome that they may or may not achieve, right? Because if you think about it, what's going to be a more powerful motivating factor for you, for me, and for you potentially listening to this as well, right? If someone said to me, the room's super cold, I'm freezing, I'm really getting cold, like, is that going to be more of a motivating factor for me to go and turn on the heating than it would be if I'm thinking about something like, if someone says, like, in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, you can achieve this kind of mythical result. Your room could have a TV here. Like, which one would get me to move faster, quicker, right? Which one would make me want to achieve more? Would I rather have this TV in my room, as an example, right? It's a random example, but would I rather have a TV with a PlayStation in the room if there's something I want? Or would I rather escape from the pain, which is, the room's super cold and I need to find a way to get heated up, right? For most people, the big thing that motivates people much more, for the majority of people, is moving away from pain, right? So one of the very first things we need to keep in mind is, how can we get our content to speak more about solving pain? How can we start to understand deep down, what is the pain? What is the small and big pain that our audience is having every day that we're speaking to? And when I say audience, just think about one specific person, right? It could be the person you was 5 years ago. It could be someone you've worked with. We have a client, Reese. He runs one of the biggest online fitness coaching programs in the world. His entire marketing, his entire content, his entire strategy is just set up on the one person he's trying to help is, his mum, of having, like, people like his mum, because he used to see his mum a lot go to these different these weight loss plans and health programs, and she was always getting burned by the program. She was never sticking to the results. She was never getting them. So he's just trying to find more people like her to help so they can avoid it. It's very specific. It also talks specifically about removing pain, right? So just think about that. And the reason I mention this is because it's a huge business that Alkaline has. But the goal and the pain point that you're talking about is very singular. It's very singularity of focus, right? That's what we need to be looking at when it comes to our content. That's what we need to be looking at when it comes to the sales process, to be able to sell a coaching program for 600, 700, 800 pounds, £1,000 plus fully online. We need to know what the pain is, so we can talk about that in the hooks of the videos in the first 3 seconds, the first 5 seconds. Are you struggling with this? Are you struggling with low testosterone? Are you struggling with low energy? Are you struggling with this and that? Well, stick around, because I'll show you how to fix it. It's going to make it so much more intriguing. It's going to make it so much easier to sell this program as well in your calls, in your sales calls, in your DMs, in your content. Everything becomes much easier when you start talking more clearly about defined problems that people have, right? So this is one of the first things when you jump on sales calls, right? Clearly define what are the problems that people are trying to get away from. If you have these problems and you package a program up more specifically about helping them navigate these problems, so they can have more energy, they can have better work-life balance, they can be more on top of family and health, and all of these different things. But if you don't know what these are, it's going to be very hard to actually create a program that does that, right? That's the very first thing. The second thing we want to keep in mind in terms of being able to package up our coaching program to be able to sell it at higher price points is to stop talking about the features of our program. I alluded to that in point 1, but stop talking about the features of your coaching. Like I said, no one cares if they get to speak to you 1 hour a week or 1 hour a year. The big thing they care about is, how will this program help me remove the pain I'm currently in and help me achieve this big dream goal that I have here. These are the only 2 things people care about. If you can package up everything inside a program as to why it's going to help the person on the other end do that, it becomes much easier to sell. In sales calls, in your content as well, in your Instagram stories, all of these things become so much easier when you have that nailed, when you have that clear, right? So have that in place. Have that really, really clearly in place. It'll make it so much easier. Talk about, like, if you get stuck and you don't know how to do that, right? If you start talking about 24/7 support, if you start talking about your WhatsApp access, your weekly calls or your weekly check-ins, or the fact that they can even meet you in person every now and then, right? Or they can do an in-person session, however you package up your program. If you get yourself stuck or talking about these things included in your program, this part here that I'm going to mention next is going to be extremely important, so you might want to take a note, right? When you do start mentioning this, when you start yourself going down that rabbit hole, one of the very best things you can do is say, okay, here's a feature of my program. Let me give you an example. A lot of coaches have weekly check-ins. Here's a part of my program. You get weekly check-ins. The reason you get weekly check-ins inside the program is because a lot of people that before they join a program, they struggle with motivation, accountability, support. They get to the weekend, they binge, the energy goes out of whack. They binge, they eat way too much food, the energy goes out of whack, and they feel like they're restarting every Monday. The reason my clients don't do that in my program is because we have the weekly check-in. The weekly check-in is there to keep you accountable, to give you the support, and give you the motivation to keep things going forward, not just for 1 week and just kind of give up after 7 days or 10 days or 20 days, but it's there to keep you going long term. Do you see how just framing it around the problem that this thing of your program is solving, it makes it infinitely more valuable, right? That's going to make it a lot easier to actually sell these programs. And the second thing is as well, like, to be aware that if people say, I can't afford to pay £600 or £1,000 right now, it doesn't mean that they're not a good fit. It doesn't mean that they're not going to join your program at all. What you can do is just be there to listen, be there to coach them for making the best possible decision for them, right? They can't do the whole payment for the entire program if it's a 3-month or 6-month or 12-month program. Okay, it's no problem. What can you do today? What can you commit to paying today? Do you want to split it into 2 or do you want to split it into 3? What would make it better for you? What would work? And the reason we're having these conversations with people, right, in that part of the call is because you've done a lot of the heavy lifting with your coaching already. You've shown people why your program is good. You've gotten them to see why they're going to get results. You've gotten them to have certainty, belief in that. If they are certain, you just ask them, right, do you feel like the program's the right fit for you? They're going to say, yeah, it is the right fit. So is it just the money that's stopping you from moving forward? They'll reply, if it is just the money, then it's your job on the call just to find out a payment structure, a payment option that would work better for them. You know, a lot of clients have it where people, especially around this time, so at the time of filming this video, it's around 22nd of the month, right? For a lot of our clients, people get paid and their prospects get paid nearer to the end of the month, right? So 25th, 30th. So it might just be a matter of, okay, I can't do the whole big amount of money right now to pay because I'm going to get paid soon and I have a mortgage and stuff. But I can put a deposit down. I can put the full amount down on the next day. Cool, no problem. Let's get that set up for you today so you can actually get started quicker. Here's how we're going to do it. You pay the deposit today. On this day, you're going to get charged for the rest. Does that work? Is that fair enough? Yep. Cool, amazing. Let's get going. Do you see how much more simpler sales and coaching becomes when you have these packages in place, but you have these frameworks and skill sets in the back end to be able to close programs for higher amount of money? It becomes much easier. Because if you have a program that's worth £1,000 and you sell that, you only need 5 people in 1 month to sign up, and you're already doing £5,000 fully online with your business. How much more stability, how much more safety, how much more security could that give you to actually grow, to actually build, to actually move things forward? In my opinion, so much more than trying to stack £100 a month clients that may or may not drop off in month 2 or 3 because they're not super motivated, or they may just jump to another program. This becomes so much easier for you to help people, to help them transform their life, and they're going to stick with you for longer. They're going to get better results, and it's just a flywheel that's just going to compound and stack up within itself, right? I hope you find this video helpful. I hope you find this conversation about sales, how to package your coaching up better, useful. If you do, make sure to hit like so I know. Make sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more content just like this to grow. If you want to inquire about working with myself one-to-one with building and growing your coaching business in 2026, there'll be a link in the description to do that. So just inquire on there, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.